Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It's our weekend program where we speak to the movers and shakers of sports, the sportsmen, sportswomen, sports administrators, coaches, just about everyone involved in sports. Well, as indicated, our guest this afternoon is Lindon Victor. Yes, Lindon Victor is a name very synonymous these days in track and field, and for many reasons, as you will know. Lindon is what you call him now, the Iron Man of the Caribbean in terms of track and field. Iron Man because it's not normal for an athlete to do 10 events rather over 2 days and still be, walking, strong, I would say, But, we hear a lot from Lindon because I know folks who have been accustomed now to seeing Lindon on television, and, we learn a lot about all the antics. And I mean, by the way, I should tell you, Lindon is actually a comedian in himself, so you'll hear about that. Yes, so Lindon is joining us momentarily. He's on already, but he will come on just in a moment. And then Rudy and Sylvan is also in Toronto, my co-host, and he will also be joining me in a moment as well. But as indicated, Lindon is the bronze medalist in the Decathlon at the recent World Championships in Budapest, Hungary. And as you know, the Decathlon, the men's Decathlon, it's 10 events over 2 days, so 5 on the first day, 5 on the other. And in many cases, there are many instances where the competitors have not been able to complete the 10 events. In fact, in some instances, they can only, after probably 3 or 4 events, can't go more. So sometimes at the end of day 1, the field may cut down, as in the case recently, it went down. And but Lindon was one of the athletes that stood strong. And as we were following his exploits, you know that he is definitely one of those who are contending for medals for the Olympic Games in Paris come next summer. So as soon as we see Lindon's video again, we'll bring him on the on the screen. But yes, Lindon is there. So let me say good afternoon to Lindon Victor. Good afternoon to you, Lindon. Let's make sure that we are hearing you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Thanks very much, Lindon, for joining us today. But I have part of the video I need to show. I need to show that the last event, right, which is the 1500 meters. So if you can permit me to introduce that, because I think it could be a good segue into our discussion. So just permit me to show that that last.
The guys up front.
Yeah.
Warnock will finish with bronze and gold. It's a night of pure history for Grenada and Canada. Lindon Victor on the podium for the first time in his life in a global event. The Commonwealth champion tastes a moment earlier this season he thought would be impossible. And for the first time in World Championship history, a Canadian wins the decathlon. But it's not the Olympic champion Damien Warner, it's his great friend Pierce Lepage, who tonight steps out of the shadow of the man who inspired him into the sport. Tonight belongs to Lepage. And what a night for the Canadians. Sensational performance in so many different events. Lepage is now one of the all-time greats.
Well, hats off to that man right there, Lindon Victor of Grenada, the Grenadan national record holder, and what he's been able to do on this season, shortened season. He comes out here and absolutely performs. If he can get healthy, what's he going to look like in 1 year's time at the Paris Olympics?
And imagine how many athletes on Grenada he's going to inspire. Karani James was the first, brilliant 400-meter runner, then came Anderson Peters in the javelin, and now we've got Lindon Victor. We're waiting for the official confirmation of his total. I think he's going to be up in the top 6 of all time. The unofficial score on the board looks like it's over 8,900 points, in which case he might have just moved 6th on the all-time list, relegating you to 7th. Sorry.
7's my lucky number, all right. He misses the World Championship record, but what a performance. And Pierce Lepage, he was a young man who, when he showed up at the international scene, everybody went, wow, what great ability. What can this young man do? He's wowed.
The time list, and a maiden gold for the Canadians, first and second, and Linda the bronze.
So, Lyndon, a couple of things there. First of all, they made a couple of comments regarding if this athlete is healthy, so we have to know what was your condition.
Yeah.
The inspiration to a lot of athletes. And then I saw a little, I don't know if it's a little bantering between yourself and Damien at the end there, because I know you all always do some sort of thing. And he probably was telling you, I assume, boy, you know you can do it. But let's talk first of all about your condition going into this World Championships. It seems as if Lyndon wasn't of the best, so we could have expected the best. Are we yet to expect the best of Lyndon? But what was your preparation like, your state of mind, your readiness for the World Championships?
Well, first of all, Michael, thank you for having me on the show. It's been a minute, but I'm happy that we can actually find the time together and get on the show. But yeah, this year was, for the first time in my career, I would say I was really injured, really bad. I have doctors diagnosed me with a sports hernia, and I've been getting a lot of pain in my pelvic region. So every time I tried to run, anytime I tried to jump or throw or anything, it was really bad. So we got to the one point in the season where we wasn't even sure if I would be able to compete at the World Championships, and we thought we were just going to do surgery and just make sure we get ready for the Olympics next year. But it looked like God had different plans for me. I went, a doctor flew me to California, and she gave me some medicine that really, really helped me. And obviously the pain is still there, but I was able to bring the pain down to a level that we got 3 months of training this year, 3 months of consistent training where, we modified everything, but I was able to at least do the reps with manageable pain. And while we were practicing, each day my coach and I were looking at each other like, wow, this is not bad. This is not bad. And each day we was just like, oh, this is not bad. So going into the meet, we were like, as long as the pelvic doesn't flare up, believe it or not, Michael, I was expecting to win the meet. That was just the amount of confidence that I had going into meet, the amount of confidence I had in my faith, in my training. And I just believed that no matter what was happening, I just believed in my mind that it was my time to win a medal. And I wrote that down in my journal. I was like, this is your time. And I just kept saying that to myself the whole way. During the decathlon, I was talking to myself. I was just saying, like, this is your time, and believe in your faith and believe. And I just had belief that no matter how this was feeling, as long as I wasn't gonna die, I was gonna compete to my best of my ability, and it was good enough to win a bronze medal at the World Championship. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and at the end you did say this one is for you, Grenada, right?
Yeah. So that was my mentality in the 1500. The whole time I'm like, listen, there are young kids up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. watching me compete. And I was like, I can't come here and not not give my best effort, because the whole country is watching, So the whole time I'm competing, I'm like, man, there are a lot of kids up watching me. Like, I gotta compete with heart. I gotta compete as an ambassador. That's the whole. That's so. Even when it came down for me to run for the 1500, I mean, it's no secret that I hate the 1500. But the whole time, I'm like, I was running for something bigger than myself in that moment. I was running for my country. So that's why all the emotions came out when I said, Grenada, this is for you, because that's the fastest 1500 I ever ran in my life. And I was like, Grenada, this 1500 is for you, because I'm coming home with a medal. And that's the only thing I had on my mind the whole time. I was like, listen, do this for your country. Do this for your country. Do this for your country. Because it's different, like when I do decathlon and gutsis and do decathlon all over the world. It's different because I'm competing for myself. But when I put on my uniform, my country's uniform, I put on that flag, I'm no longer competing for myself.
Right.
Like, I'm competing for my country. And I feel like that to me is the biggest reward. Like, when you can win a medal for your country, that to me is very, very rewarding.
At any point you figure that you're really carrying the burden of Grenada at the World Championships, knowing that the 400 went, it wasn't the best for Kirani, he was disqualified, and then all the problems Anderson had, he was basically struggling. So you figure that, hey, this is for Grenada, this is Lindon carrying Grenada at the World Championships?
No, I never felt that way one time. I just felt like, Kirani's situation, I was like, wow, I can't, like, just him stepping on the line to me was inspirational.
It's right.
And Anderson, like, he's the two-time world champion. So I feel like he already proved that he can compete at this level.
Right. So this time that was Lindon's time now.
Yeah, like Kirani, like, last year, if I was thinking like that, they could have been like, well, Lindon didn't win a medal last year, so I was the odd man out.
Right, yeah.
Both of them won medals last year. No, the whole time I was competing, I didn't feel like I was carrying the burden, because these two guys have proven themselves on the biggest stage, and I just felt like, you know what, just go out there and compete, and live with the result. But compete with heart for your country. Mm-hmm. Like, not just compete just to compete, because as I've gotten older, I noticed that when you compete for something bigger than yourself, you compete with more passion. Like, if you compete for yourself and like just for your own personal glory, it doesn't feel as rewarding. But like when you compete for something bigger than you, and I think, I can't speak for Kirani, but I feel like sometimes that's what makes Kirani so great, because he competes for his country, and I feel like I'm finally at that stage where I'm competing for something, not just to prove to myself, but I'm competing for all the young Lindons that are going to come after me,
Yeah, true inspiration. Before I bring on Rudian in Toronto, and let me say good afternoon to you, Edwin Sam in New Jersey, and also to John Otley. Which event you figured that, I mean, the 1500 always the last event. It's one where folks have an idea of how they will, once they perform to their best, they have an idea where they can be on the medal standing at the end, and anything can happen because some people may not even complete the 1500. But during this World Championships, which of the event you thought you really did your best, and probably it was your best performance yet?
Wow. That's tough, because I was happy with most of my events.
Good to hear. But I know your strength lies in the throws, like the discus and the javelin.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with my discus.
With your discus, because I know you were going for probably a record or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I was throwing really far in practice. I was like, so we were expecting a little bit further. I think it was the 400.
Right. So you mentioned the 4. I didn't want to say anything about the 4. And then there was the talk, well, Lindon could be a good addition probably when he's on the off season for 4x4 relay,
I went into the room and Kirani told me the same thing.
Well, look at that, Yeah, because I saw you at the Commonwealth Games and but it was probably the first time I've seen Lindon running a 400 like that. I mean, even the start of the 400, I saw a photo rather of the start. I saw you in the running before, but looking at a photo of the start is almost the Kirani James stride,
Yeah.
in terms of the start. So you're really happy with that 400 meters?
Yeah, like I am. So I don't know if a lot of people know this. Last year, 2 years ago, I switched coaches. I have a whole new team with me right now. After the Olympics 2 years ago, I switched training venues. I switched coaches. I switched agents. I made a clean shop.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we've been working on is my running. I mean, it's evident that I'm not the same Lindon from 2021. I have a coach who has won Olympic medals, who has won World Championship medals, and we've changed a lot of things. And I feel like what we're seeing now is just the fruits from the things that I've changed. I've changed my therapist. I've changed my massage guy. I changed my nutritionist. So I pretty much clean shop because I knew that I had a lot of talent, and the coach that I was working with couldn't unlock that talent for me. And when I met my new coach and he told me how much it was to work with him, I was like, you must be mad. Because in Grenada, we don't pay all this money for coaching,
Right.
But I viewed it as an investment. And now I'm the World Championship bronze medalist. So the 400 and my running events and everything that you're seeing is a testament of the hard work I've done, but the new team that I have around me.
Right. So it was a clean slate and a new focus, everything like that. So Roger Augustine is saying, congratulations, Lindon. And yes, it's people like you and the way you compete give me encouragement to be an ambassador for Grenada at home and abroad. Yes, good afternoon to you, Gordon Boney Julian, sorry. And he says, Roger is saying, keep pushing through, and you have shown us what it means to believe in yourself. Rudian, good afternoon to you, Rudian from Toronto.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
Lyndon, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
I'm good, man.
Just before we start, I have a story. Just before the World Championship, I met LaPage at the track, and I shake his hand and I said, good luck, because we train at the same facility. But I coach at the same facility with him, and I said, good luck. And so when he won, I said, that was my handshake. So if I met you, I think if I shake your hand, you would have been on top of the podium. So I think we got to meet just before the Olympics, and I have to shake your hand.
Well, I don't know. You're a Canadian, so I don't know if I want me to. I don't feel like I don't know if I want to shake your hand.
Well, I am Grenadian, so we take that away. I'm Grenada first, and
Right,
just
okay,
as
yeah,
I have compete for Grenada at the Olympics. So yes,
okay.
Grenada always come first. But when I look at you, because I follow you quite a bit, and I look at you, not knowing everything you just said, because I didn't see the same Lyndon as I've seen over the past few years. You came in with purpose, right off the bat from the first event. So there was purpose in there, without knowing that everything you have done was a 360. And that was that the results coming from it. Like I said, I seen purpose. My people that I talked to, I said, hey, he's not the same athlete. He actually probably could win a gold medal. I actually said that to them, because I've seen that different just from your media, just how you was, just watching you, and I'm watching you on TV. So it's like I'm watching that, and I said, I could see the focus on him. and I'm extremely proud to see what you have accomplished. Not only for Grenada, because yes, Grenada has won medals before. It's not our first medal. Yes, it's our first decathlete medal, but it's not our first medal. But I'm extremely happy for you and your team, so that you know the discipline that you have. 10 events is a hard thing. I'm a 400-meter runner, and when I
Oh
used to
yeah.
train, I don't want to do the 500. I don't want to go anything over a 400 in practice, not even in practice. So I know what it's like,
Yeah.
to do one event compared to doing 10. So it could be quite challenging. And then it's not just 10 event just running, it's 10 competitive events. You are given 100% in every race, or 110% of how you feel on that day. So no, most
Yeah.
definitely. Now, when you look back and you're going to sit down because there's no rest for you. The Olympics is around the corner. There's no rest. Um, you're going to sit down with your team and you're going to jot everything. What needs to change um, to get on the podium, in your views?
Repeat that question again. Sorry, you're breaking up.
What need to change? What you think is lacking, or you could do better in moving forward to see yourself on the podium again, not necessarily gold, but on the podium in the Olympic Games.
I think with every athlete, the biggest thing is to be healthy. Um, Obviously, I'm not 25 anymore, so the biggest thing is going to be my health. Having the right doctor to work on me consistently, like not seeing a good doctor today and then trying to save up money so that I can see him, because I don't want to see him too often, because if you see him too often, then it's getting pricey. So I think the biggest thing is being able to get treatment consistently, and obviously injuries happen, but if you can prevent them, that to me is the biggest. The healthiest athlete normally wins. Um, so that's issue number one. The second thing I believe is having the right pole vault poles is going to be
Yeah,
paramount.
yeah,
That's the paramount thing that we're going into next year, because going into the World Championships, we knew that I had outperformed my poles. There was no doubt about that. But to get a new set of poles, it was just not in the cards at the time. So we were just trying to make sure that, okay, we're going to get to the meet and make as much bars as we can with the implement that we have. But next year, 20 for the Olympics, that's not going to happen. We're going to go in there with the right poles, with the right equipment, and vault with these guys, because the vault carries a lot of points. So I think,
yes.
one, stay healthy. Two, have the right poles and train with the right poles to see how much points I cannot give away. That's the perfect giveaway in the pole
Yeah,
vault, because
yeah.
and I just believe if I can train for the whole year consistently and not deal with, obviously I have injuries, but not deal with something that takes me out of training for 6 months, and then I compete the best of my ability, and hopefully that's good enough to win a medal.
No, definitely. And you with the right team, and you believe in your team. And I think that's really what it is. As an athlete, even being a former athlete, as long as we know, um, I had a lot of scholarship. I went to University of Memphis, and I knew I went to the right school. And, I mean, I could have gone to your school because I had a scholarship for it. But I believe I actually went to the right school. I went to University of Memphis, and the success come up from there for me because I just have that faith with the people that was there. And the same thing for you. I believe you have the faith and the confidence with the coaching staff and the doctors and the masseuse and and everything that you have there. And I think success will come for you. So continue. I have one more question, but I want to ask in the next time around.
All right.
Right. Yes. So couple of comments coming in. Lyndon, let me just get them out of the way first. Congrats, Lyndon. All the best in your future events. Michael, thanks for giving our athletes a platform to hear from them directly so that they can have some understanding of their preparations and their struggles, Roger. And Pauline Hazard, that's the mom, rather, of Peyton. And yes, congratulations, Mr. Victor. Yes, and also Hallie Hazard as well. Yeah, he's the mom of a lot of athletes.
Thank you.
And Liz Forsyth says, good afternoon, Michael, and to our national hero, beloved Lindon Victor. That's a lot of names, boy. National hero, beloved Lindon Victor. Heartiest congratulations, Victor. And there's congratulations, Lindon 473 Greens. Is very proud of you. Looking forward to your great performances in 2024. And Lindon, I assume a lot of folks now will be eyeing 2024, the Olympics. A very short period for preparations, because it means that, we spoke about that last week, Rudy, and it has to do with how the cycle has changed because of COVID, so it's almost back-to-back for a while. Lindon, so I assume with your new team, everything, the focus is already on the Paris Olympics and your strategy in ensuring that you remain on the podium.
Well, I don't know. I think you're breaking up a little bit, Michael.
Oh, okay. Yes. No, the question was that
ensuring, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, ensuring that you. Well, I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yeah. I think we're just having a little lag in.
Yeah. We still have a couple more competitions. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I was saying that we still have a couple more competitions coming up, so we're not even focused on Paris yet, unfortunately. I leave for France on Monday to do another meet, another decathlon, and then I'll be representing Grenada in the Pan American Games late in November. So it's gonna be tough, you know, doing these 2 decathlons and then getting ready for the Olympics, you know. But it's not ideal to do a decathlon in November, obviously, but Grenada calls, so I gotta go.
So again, you carrying Grenada on your back. But Lindon, and for folks to have an idea of the sort of preparations that involve, because it's not like every weekend you can run, like how you can run a 400, is that every weekend you can compete in a decathlon. There is a period of recovery. So give us an idea in terms of the whole state of the preparation and the recovery stage in preparing for an event like the decathlon.
Well, I'll start with the preparation. 3 things my coach always said: you got to get fit, strong, and healthy. Once you fit, strong, and healthy, then you can do a decathlon. So we try to make sure that, one, I'm fit. I think I have one of the best strength coaches in the world. So he's going to get me strong. And health comes with, knock on wood, maybe you can step on a puddle and you become injured. Go back to the preparation. To prepare for the decathlon, you can't just prepare physically for the decathlon. You also have to prepare mentally. And as I've gotten older, I've been doing a better job of preparing mentally for the decathlon. Because the decathlon, there comes a point in the decathlon when you're tired. Like for some athletes, it hits earlier. Some athletes it hit later. But it's always a time where, like, your body is going to be like, wow, I am tired. So sometimes we try to prepare physically with training while you're tired, training while you're exhausted, like vaulting on tired legs. Because the vault is one of the events is where you become physically and mentally tired, because it's been a long 65 hours, right? When you're talking about the preparations before, it's been a lot of hours. So I think the biggest thing that I've gotten better at because obviously I'm talented and I'm gifted, but I think mentally is where a lot of the preparation goes in as I've gotten older. And the recovery part, after every decathlon, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. Like the morning after the decathlon, I can't even walk. I promise you, my legs are stiff because it's just a lot of pounding. Anderson told me this. He was like, "I'm so after I threw a javelin." And I was like, "What? How are you so after you threw a javelin?" And he was like, "I can't imagine how you feel after doing 10 events." So like, the morning after, my coach tried to give me like anywhere between 7 to 9 days off of doing almost nothing. So that's why you can't do so many decathlons in a year, because you need your body to recover, and to do another decathlon you need to get back into training. So if you take a week off and then you need to go back into training, normally ideally you do decathlons like 5 weeks out, 5 weeks apart. Some decathlons it takes, and the requirement that it takes to do a decathlon, a lot of people body, it breaks down after 3-4 years. So a lot of decathletes, they don't, if they do 2 decathlons a year, they're done. Like the Canadian guys are not doing Pan Ams. Like they have already shut their season down. None of the American guys that I beat are going to do Pan Ams, because it's just going to be so taxing to be able to do a decathlon, recover, and to train for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said some important things, and I need to let me get some comments here. Congrats, Lindon. Stay healthy, fit, and strong. Blessings. Jelani Tempo Franklin. And then Edwin Sam is saying, interestingly, you mentioned that finance.
Appreciate it, Jelani. Thank you.
Yeah. Interestingly, you mentioned that finance is an impediment, to getting the fullest training that an athlete at your level requires. We should be imploring the sporting authorities to get the finances to support our athletes. So, Lindon, you mentioned some things there as it relates to even replenishing your body, the doctor, not being able to see the doctor as often as you would like because it's costly. So tell me, what sort of, and I mean, if you can go into dollars and cents, I mean, because I am certain there will be folks who will want to implore the authorities that people like you in particular, I mean, there are probably others, but you in particular will need that sort of financial assistance to ensure that you can perform at your maximum.
Well, first off, I do get financial assistance from the Olympic Committee, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't even be able to get one session with the doctor,
Right.
Because it's not like I have a shoe company that's paying me or anything. So the Olympic Committee supports me to the point where, like, I can go see a doctor, or I can, do the little things that is required to obviously win a medal.
But in addition, I mean, certainly anything in addition will be a bonus, right?
100%, Michael, because I just said at that point I'm being strategic, right? Like I can't see him as often as I would like, because if let's do hyperbole. If to see a doctor one time is $150, right? If I see him 5 days for the week, right? You do the math.
Yeah.
If I see him for the month, right? If my training cycle is 6 months, 7 months, you're talking just to see the right doctor, you're talking a lot of money. I don't want to get into cents and dollars, right? So that's why sometimes as athletes you have to pick your poison. Sometimes you could only go when you hurt. But there's a saying that prevention is better than cure. But so if I can prevent it, then that would be great.
But I guess as much we get in the picture that as a decathlete, it's a very expensive venture, right? Because
Yeah,
hmm?
yeah, I mean, it's to me it's the most expensive sport. There's no way around it. Like the poles, the javelin, like Anderson event is expensive because he needs like, let's say he needs 10 javelin, right? And each javelin is $2,000. That's $20,000 just for Anderson. Multiply what I need times 10.
Yeah, you need shot put, right? You need discus. You
You
need
see?
javelin pole for the pole vault, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's costly, but like I said, it's it's costly, but we were able to make it work to win a bronze medal. You know,
Mhm.
so it's not like it's impossible, um, I wouldn't win. I believe so much in my faith and my that 2024 we're going to we're gonna we're gonna do fundraising. We're gonna do things to get the polls. We're gonna email the right people to try to get the polls. And because one thing that I've learned, you can't. Anytime you start depending on other people to do things for you, then it's never gonna go anywhere, right? Because I can sit here and be like, oh, I need polls and I need this, and I don't try to get the polls myself. Then I may never get polls for 2024. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but are you? So you're telling us now that you are in need of implements like the poles, like the shot puts, these things like that. So don't be afraid. Give us a
I'm not
bucket
saying
list,
that.
Lyndon.
No, I'm not saying that I'm afraid because then, no, I'm not saying
Mhm.
that I'm in need of anything. I'm saying that, okay, to vault a certain height that I would like to vault, it would require me getting new poles, right? However way that happens, it's going to happen. Maybe I can message a company and say, all right, I just won the bronze medal. Give me some poles. That's that's the way it can happen, right? So it's not always about, oh, I need discus. I can probably, I don't know, ask a company in Grenada and be like, hey, I need some discus. Let sponsor me some discus. Or I reach out to another person and they be like, oh, I need some javelin. So it's going to happen. I firmly believe that it's going to happen. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is the case or that is the case. It's going to happen. I'm going to get my poles. I'm going to get my javelins. Whether it comes from this source or the other source, I'm going to get it.
All right. Well, Rudian, we'll ensure that he gets it, right? Because we'll have to speak about it. Lyndon needs that. He needs the implements, and I think he has proved his worth. And you know, they should be asking Lyndon, "What's your need?" You understand what I'm saying? Lyndon should not be saying, "Here is what I need." Lyndon, what are your needs? And he should be able to say, "I need this, that, the other." What are your needs for 2024, for example? You know, and we already know that it's a tight schedule for Lyndon because he has the Pan Am Games. He doesn't have to, but as he said, country calls, he's answering. So I think it's necessary and it's important that whether it's and he mentioned Olympic Committee, which I want to thank for that, but it should be more than the Olympic Committee, for example, right? It should be other stakeholders, private sector, government, in addition to the Olympic Committee. The Olympic Committee could do as much as possible, right? They are making their contribution. They are putting them in line in terms of preparation for Pan Am Games, Olympic Games, probably Commonwealth Games, these sort of things. But in addition to that, we need the state to be on board. We need the private sector to be on board. And it shouldn't be something where Lyndon should be asking, but it should be the other way around, where recognizing his contribution recognizing all that he has been doing, and for some of them knowing what it takes to compete as a decathlete, they should be rushing at Lindon Victor with some form of assistance. Lindon should be deciding who it is I'm choosing, who it is I'm going with, things like that.
Well, you and I both know that this is not the case. I don't know if it'll ever be the case like that. I will say this though, Michael, like, because it hasn't happened yet, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So I am holding the faith that, okay, just because nobody has reached out and say what you need or what you don't need, because it hasn't happened yet, I am hoping that that's not the case, that it's not going to happen.
Right, yeah, understandable.
It's been 3 weeks since I won the medal. It's been 3 weeks since I won the medal. Obviously, I know there's a lot of things that has to take place before, right? So, because something hasn't happened yet, my hope is that it's going to happen. It's just going to take some time. Like, somebody's going to reach out and say what you need, how you need it, when you need it by. Right? So this is like I said earlier, it's going to happen. Like, I'm going to get my poles. I'm going to get the right discus and the right javelin that I need to win the Olympic medal.
Yeah, well, I like Rudy, and before you come in, I like his thought pattern, because he is being proactive in that he knows what he wants, and he will, as he said, even if it means fundraiser, for example, he will go ahead and do what is necessary. But at the same time, we are hoping that corporate Grenada will see the need to reach out to Lindon. It's all well and good to be 473 supporting, sending congratulatory messages, etc., attaching your names and whatever to Lindon's performances. But it's also important that they should be reaching out to Lindon. Some comments. Lindon, what are the implements and gears that you need? From Liz Forsyth. Christine Smith is saying, congratulations, Lindon, but I think corporate Grenada could do better to assist you with your training. Country calls. Country should support Lindon. He should not have to ask for these upgrades in order to medal. I agree. The athlete should not have to use his time to beg for his implements, and beg meaning in quotation. His focus should be on training and competing. He's letting off the authorities too early. And Lindon is a true patriot. That I will conclude by saying that as well. To say all that you said, Lindon, and to be focused on what you think is your mission, even if it, as you said, even if it means fundraiser, you have to be a true patriot. Rudian?
I would say this though, Michael. I started when I wanted to do the Decathlon, right? I started using a bamboo to try to vault inside my veranda. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that.
By the way, folks, I told you in the start. I told you Lindon is a comedian as well, so you're hearing things now.
but it's true. I started using that bamboo, like my father had a bamboo for a coconut, and I was using that to try to vault into my veranda, right? So I said that to say, a pole, having a bigger pole is not going to stop me from winning the medal that I have to.
But certainly,
if I started off trying to pole vault with bamboo, then the poles, I am 100% confident that for some reason people like Lindon. I don't know why, they do. Some school might have some poles that they're not using, and I'll get the poles. If the government decide, well, okay, Lindon, we're going to support you to get the poles, that's fine as well.
Most certainly, Lindon. Like you said, true patriot. However, things will be well. I trust and I believe that things will be well. So this is a real question.
Mhm.
Within 3 months, you'll be doing 3 major events.
Yeah,
We don't call injury on anyone, but that could be called for an injury.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
understand it's
Thought about
country.
that.
Why would you go to the Pan Am Games? I
Well,
understand the country part. I get it. I don't mean anything wrong, but then there are bigger than the Pan Am Games that the Pan Am Games can hinder you for that.
no, honestly, we weighed all of that. We weighed all of that in practice. I sat with my coach. We weighed all of that. He doesn't think I should do Pan Ams. He's against me doing Pan American Games. I'm going to be honest. But anybody, one, for my country, of course, right? That's a chance for us to get on the podium. Anderson is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Win medals. Two, I want to leave a legacy behind in the decathlon. And I feel like if I ever get to the point where my country has to beg me to do a meet, then I'm in the wrong spot. I don't feel like my country should ever have to beg me to do a meet. If I'm healthy and I could win the meet, I think I should do the meet.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's just how I feel. Like, logic to say not to do the meet. It's too close to the Olympics. It's been a long season. It's in November.
Mhm.
But if I'm healthy
Good.
and I can do
No,
a
most
decathlon,
definitely. Yeah.
why not?
All
Yeah,
right.
most definitely.
Like I said, all the big names are back on the meet.
Yeah. No, definitely, and it will be good for Grenada. Definitely for whatever support Grenada will get based on medals on the podium for Pan Am. So that's definitely a
Yeah.
plus, and it could be beneficial to you in the long run. Most definitely. With your third place, is there any hope for a shoe sponsor or a big name sponsor that you know of that's been worked on with you and your agent?
Well, that's my agent's job right now. I did my part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went out and got the medal. His job is to get me a shoe deal. Now,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I'm leaving that up to him. Like I said, it's only been 3 weeks, you know, and these things take time.
Takes time.
So,
No, most definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely. And a lot of these
I'm not
things do
gonna.
happen. A lot of these things do happen at end of season. And of course the season
Yeah.
is not ended yet because like I said, I do know about it. I'm in it, so I know most of the stuff will come in the end of a season. So because contracts is on season to season, and also I do understand that.
Exactly.
All right.
So I
Um
feel like
if-
I've done my part in order to get a shoe contract, but I've also seen
Right.
athletes that have medals that don't have a contract. I don't understand track and field.
Yeah.
I feel like once you have a medal, it should be automatic, right? You know. But that's just the business of the sport. But that's for him to worry about. I feel like
All right.
Yeah.
I did my part. My score is number 14 all time in the decathlon, in the history of the decathlon. So
Yeah.
I want you to
I did my part. He got to do his.
I want you to look at this here, and that guy that's sitting there. I mean, as I said, you know, I know all about the comedy and this sort of thing. So, but how much you think he has inspired you, Lyndon?
Sorry, you're breaking up, Michael. I can't hear you.
No, yeah. I hope you're seeing the photo on there. You're seeing the photo that I placed there. There's a photo there, and there's a guy that's sitting there next to you.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
With Kurt,
So I want to know, right, Kurt,
my
how
brother.
much has
Yeah.
right, your brother, yeah? I want to know how much he has inspired you in terms of your exploits as it is now.
Man, let me tell you, Grenada owes Kurt this medal because I would not be doing the decathlon without Kurt. Like, I wish he had chose an easier event, to be honest with you, because I was gonna follow my brother's footsteps no matter which event he did. I feel like that's the honest to God truth. Like when I was in Grenada, my whole goal was to just break Kurt. Every record that Kurt had, just to break it. Like, just being the little brother, every record that he had, I was like, all right, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break it. So to this day, like, we go over strategy. Here's a funny thing. A lot of people don't even notice. When my coach left to go coach another athlete, Kurt came to Fort Worth and helped me with my long jump because I was struggling with my long jump. Like, so we worked, and he taught me so much things that I didn't even know about the long jump. And you saw I had my best long jump in my career at the World Championships. So, like, like Kurt to me is like, well, obviously he's my big brother, so I have a lot of respect for him. But the guys, I like to say he's made my path a lot easier. He cut down a lot of the bushes and made my path a lot easier. So, this medal I cannot even begin to say how much he has impacted me in my life and in my, not just in the decathlon, but just like in my life in general.
Yeah, well, I put this photo up too because as I
and
was
by the
saying
way,
that, yeah. Yeah, go on,
you were
Linda.
saying what? No, I was saying, by the way, he's gonna have a good meet in Paris. I can feel it. I can feel he's gonna have a good meet in Paris as well. So
Well,
it'll be fun.
Well, yeah, it will be good because I know somehow you are, when Kurt is in competition with you, you are really inspired, right?
Yeah.
You get that sort of synergy and things like that. So and by the way, folks, just as a side note, I was saying about the comedy and thing because these two guys, when they're together, when they're in camp, they're the ones who keep the Grenadian contingent jovial. I mean, there's a serious side in terms of competition and training, but there's also the jovial side with all the jokes and the funniness and things like that. By the way, Kurt is a good barber. He was my barber in Glasgow. He was my barber in Rio. So he's an all-round kind of
barber.
And he's still your barber, right? Yeah. So very funny guys. Nice guys to be around because they keep you with all the jokes, all the funniness. I mean, there's never a dull moment, I can tell you. Davis Adams is saying, Lindon is a real patriot and statesman. Congratulations on your success. But you have shown your worth long before World Championships, which is icing on the cake. I'm sure that things will fall into place, echoing your positive attitude. You're a great example to our young athletes to, ensure that visit spring school on your tour around the island soon. Well, he's the principal of spring school.
Yeah, I know it very well.
Yeah, and he's making a plea for you to, once you visit, to ensure you visit spring school. And I'm certain, Lindon.
I had a visit with them when I was homeland. So I'll go back again.
So it's a follow-up. And I'm certain that folks, even though, as you say, sometimes it's very early in the morning, I've been reading a lot of comments from even some teachers and things like that, where they're saying how their students were talking about seeing Lindon on TV and who are saying that they want to be like Lindon, they want to do like Lindon. I'm certain that the teachers will let them know that it takes a lot of hard work. So Lindon, when you get to talk to them, I mean, what sort of message would you give those young students or aspiring decathletes?
Well, Michael, everybody that I talk to, I tell them the same thing. If you have a goal, no matter what it is, write it down on paper. write it down on paper and see it. That's one of the biggest things that changed my life. Like, you know, somebody keeps saying that, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. But there's something about writing something down. And when you write it down and you actually see what you wrote down and you say it out, I think that disciplines you to work hard. Because sometimes as athletes, you go to training, but you don't even have a goal as to what you're training towards. Or like, you go to school, but you don't have a goal towards what you're going to school for. So it's almost like you're spinning top in mud. But once you have a goal and you have a written goal and you have a set goal and you have something that you can attain and you can work towards, that to me changes your life. So I would encourage anybody, no matter what it is, it could be unrealistic to you at the time. Just write it down. Just write it down on paper and work towards it.
Yeah. I recall Sharika
Jackson.
Yeah, Sharika Jackson is one who does this. She actually showed her diary a time on television where she put in the actual times that she is looking at in various events, various meets. This is the time I'm working at. This is the time I'm hoping to achieve. And as you say, it's even if it's unrealistic, you may be able to achieve it, you know, putting it down. Lindon, for the next few minutes, we just have a few more minutes there, but I want to hear from you because we have to go back in time a bit because a lot of people may forget that you were the NCAA champion, like your brother, but you were also the NCAA record holder, right? In the event. Let's talk a bit about that, Lindon. How much has that propelled you into your professional exploits?
Well, I had a really great college career. Like, I probably had the best college career out of any decathlete that passed through, either Ashton Eaton or Trey Hardy, and these guys are world and Olympic champions. But what's crazy is that my transition from college to the professional wasn't as smooth as these guys were. It almost got to the point where like the guys that I beat in college came and medaled before me at major championships, which had me doubting myself. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how are these guys excelling more than me? Because I beat all of them in college, right? But in college, I had access to all the resources in college. Because, I mean, obviously, I was at Texas A&M. I had the best doctor, I had the best nutritionist, I had the best coaches, I had the best everything. And it took me failing at world championships, failing at, well, almost every championship that I had except for the last 2-3 years to really like, what are we doing? Is either we're going to do this or we're not going to do this, you know? Because you can't keep messing up at championships. You can't keep doing this. And, you know, that's when I made the switch. I made the switch for coaches. I made the switch for nutritionists. I just cleaned shop, you know? And I think I went back to kind of what I was doing in college, like trying to have the best team around me, because in college I had a team, right? So I was like, all right, I'm going to assemble the team. So sometimes I still drive to A&M and get treatment from the guy that worked on me. It's like a 3-hour drive. I drive to him and he still sees me and they welcome me every time I come to A&M. It's like, it's still home for me. So I think that transition from college, like a lot of people have great college careers, but that transition is really, really difficult because you don't have the same access to things that you had when you were in college, you know? So, yeah, I had a great college career, but the transition was difficult.
All right, Rudian, we get ready to wrap up some of your closing.
Yeah, most definitely, Lyndon. By the end of your season, this season, there will be hopefully a new policy in Grenada, national sports policy, and I believe there will be a lot in stuff in there that will be beneficial to you. And they are working on a lot of things for athletes, just as yourself. So I know a lot of people saying, you know, why the authority, things are in place and it's coming along So just as much as we love Grenada, we have to also love the process. And there's something is about to come that will be beneficial to you. So good things are coming. So just have that faith that like you said,
Yeah, most
impose you want, it will come some way, somehow, regardless of what you are getting it. It doesn't matter how we get it, but we are getting it. But there will be some things in there that will be beneficial to you. You might be surprised what's in it that is so much beneficial to you. Because I said I've been also firsthand in kind of working on some things that could definitely be beneficial for athletes. I put a proposal together that they are really working on for sure that could be beneficial to you guys. So something is coming on, but continue on. Good luck with your next 2 meets. I will be praying for injury free, and definitely continue the good work that you're doing, and just have fun when you're doing it.
yeah, I appreciate that. That's the name of the game, man.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Lindon, and I mean, I must say it was very inspiring. We learned quite a bit, and certainly I'm hopeful that once you remain injury-free, we should be expecting great things from you. From the comments we see from so many folks, they spoke a lot about being a patriot. For me, I think one of the crowning moments for Lindon was that saying, Grenada, this one is for you, because I thought somehow the microphone picked it up, right? And I thought, I mean, it brought a lot of chills for a lot of people, and I thought it really brought for a lot of people. Some said it was very emotional to them, very emotional for them at that point in time, because they know all the struggles that Lindon went through, and hearing about his injury and all of that. I am certain it was a lot of motivation, even if in the midst of probably depression, I think people would have been inspired. Lindon, I hope you're not. Well, I think I'm hearing you, but I'm not seeing you. Hopefully you're back up soon. But some comments coming in. Ulrich Schoon is saying congratulations, Lindon. Edwin Sam, great to MB, Rudian, and Lindon. I know there's college football on, so I hope so. Yeah, I know she must be on. I know she must be on, Livia. For closing comment, Rudian, I'm sorry, we're almost at 50 years. The process is too slow. Yeah, no, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that, Livia. We'll work on that. Now on to Prefontaine. Have a great week. Congratulations from Ansel Langain and Nigel Grant. Congratulations, Lindon, on a fantastic World Championship games. Wishing you injury-free for the rest of the season. That is something we want to wish you, Lindon. But congratulations once again, and looking forward to chatting with you some of the time. I'm hoping that you will remain injury-free for the rest of the season, and hopefully we can be speaking all over again come Olympics, when we can see Lindon. And I think that will be the crowning moment for you, being on the podium for the Olympic Games.
Yeah, definitely. For any athlete.
Well, yeah, and specifically for you, I want you to be on there because I think you deserve it. Thank you very much, Lindon. Yeah, all right.
All right, thanks. Cheers.
You're welcome. Cheers. Okay, then. Yes, Rudian, definitely, Lindon, a true, as they will say, a true patriot, and is deserving of all the accolades. Certainly, my thing is that for Independence 2024, folks like Lindon and, yes, the Kirani and the Anderson, but in terms of our sportsmen and sportswomen, I think these are the crowning moments for the folks who would have really brought Grenada to the forefront. Kirani had his time, Anderson had his time. I am saying this is Lindon's time, despite the color. He was there. And you realize that the commentators spent quite a bit.
Spent some time speaking about him.
About Lindon, because it meant, quite a bit, because for someone who had injury for all this time and coming back and being able, and basically Lindon wasn't 100% fit at the time. You remember that?
Yeah.
He's saying that. So could you imagine if Lindon was really fit?
No, definitely.
Yeah, I
And like I
mean,
said, Michael, it's I mean that event, when you look back at it, you're seeing non-European that wasn't on the podium, and a non-American
right.
was
So
on the podium, and
so
we
we
didn't
had,
really get to see that, right?
right. It was also good
So
for
yeah.
it was also good for the NACAC area, because we had the
Oh, most definitely.
two Canadians and the Grenadian. But
Yeah.
normally when you know an event like that outside of the Warner, it's dominated by the Europeans and things like that. And we had Lindon as the only Caribbean athlete at one
Yeah.
stage, only Caribbean athlete competing, and then the only Caribbean athlete on the podium. I thought that, to me, was the crowning moment.
Oh,
And
definitely. And we're gonna, in due time, we're gonna see that again, because, like I said, we've seen what Anderson have done. That never been done before. I think he was the first to ever go back to back in the World Championship. I don't think anybody have ever done it before.
in the event, yeah,
Yeah. So there's a first for us, and our name is out there. People now know of Grenada, and things are about to change.
Yeah, and what was striking too is that his disclosure that his brother will be competing.
Yeah.
In
So
Paris.
the Canadian did it. Now we can do it. We can go to two on the podium next year. I believe it's possible. We can have two athletes on the podium.
It is possible, because
Yeah.
his brother, I know, for example, when it comes to the discus, he's very strong in the discus. He's very strong in the throws as well. I think the event that normally will cripple those athletes are the pole vault and the 1500. But look,
but the good thing about the 1500, the good thing about the 1500 is the last event. Now you sort of know where you at, and you would, like, we talk about that. You would know where you are points wise, what you need to go and do. Who do you need to pass? Who do you need to beat? And that will be your focus. So you're going in there with a focus on someone or a time that you need to hit. So that's a good thing about the last event, which is your toughest event.
Yeah, you have,
because you're going in with a strategy plan.
Yeah, and even even the timing, for example, you know, if you do a four something, how much points
you're gonna get. Yeah.
And even if you stay within the leader, all these things, because don't you know you can come basically last in the 1500 and still win overall.
Yeah, because
of the points.
I mean, in the same 1500, he beat Lapierre. He beat him, and Lapierre was the crown. He beat him, and Lapierre was the crown. So it's all about your points and how far you are and where you are. Yeah,
right. He knew how many points he had to get.
Yeah, and you have to finish the race. You have to finish the race.
You have to finish the race. How much points you need, and once you get that amount of points, and anyone behind you, where they are, the timing, all these things. There's a lot of strategy, and that's why I thought, Lindon he spoke about that, having a new team, people who he believe in and believe in himself, and things like that. So, and I think.
No, definitely, and Michael, it's a lot of stress on the body. Like I said, you have to. That's why I asked the question in terms of the preparation. What's the event that you need to focus on? Not necessarily the most, but where you're strong. You're still working on, but where you're weak is where you really have to struggle on. And what you said is the pole vault.
Yeah, it's a pole
vault.
That's
what the points is. That's where you need the points. So that's why you need a bigger pole so you can go higher. Because when you at the pole vault, it's based on the poles. If your poles is short, you could only go that height.
And then the other thing about it with all these things, remember, even though he has the poles and he has all his implements, it's a lot in terms of the travel, right?
Yeah, no,
because
definitely.
For example, we knew the problem they had. That's why they could not have competed in
come home
at the Whitsuntide games, because of these things, having the pools and all these things. So that also is something that we have to look at.
No, and Michael, he talks about Anderson will get 10 javelin that will cost him $20,000. 5 poles in javelin, because you cannot have one. You need at least a few poles that can cost him $30,000. The
Right.
pole javelin, the pole vault poles could be up to 5,000 for one, or even more, to get the good ones, something that wouldn't break.
Yeah.
So
And then
yeah,
he needs poles for training and for competition, you know, all these sort of things. Yeah. And then
yeah.
has to be moving around with these things. So I think then, well, he said a lot of things there too, but I thought Lindon tried to be a little diplomatic. You know, Lindon needs assistance, right? His assistance, the assistance Lindon needs, has to be extraordinary for all the reasons that we explained, right? Because unlike, and I'm not so much comparing, right? Unlike, let's say, Kirani, Spikes, and, you know, get ready for his event preparations, Lindon,
Michael, asked
Lindon
the question,
with
and,
all his,
that is a key thing. And that's the question in terms of sponsorship, because that's make a big difference. Both Anderson and Kieran is sponsor. Them things,
yeah,
they
yeah,
will get the spikes, they will get the shoes.
yeah,
They don't
but
need
as
a
he said,
pole, they don't need those things, right?
well, in the case
So
of
for
Anderson,
him,
he needs
yeah.
javelin, huh? Yeah, but
So
in the
that's
case
why
of,
it's a difference for him, because he need different
well,
implement for all
right,
the events that need to
yeah,
take
right.
place.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. The implements are needed. So he has the shot put, he has the
Shot
discus,
put, javelin,
javelin, he has the pole vault, right?
discus,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
at least
pole vault. So four of them.
four events, right?
Yeah.
So he needs shot put, he needs discus, he needs pole vaults, and he
And
needs the
javelin.
right? And all these things are things he also has to travel with, right? He has to
Yeah.
ensure that they get to the destination, and, you know, all these sort of things. There
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
times
And the
when
pole vault is the toughest one. That's the toughest one of all.
there are times
The rest of them is easy to travel with. The pole vault is the toughest one.
right, and then there's also those stories where athletes show up at a meet, and for some reason their implements are
Yeah.
not there,
The
and
implements never showed up.
they have to
Yeah.
depend on other athletes. So, you know, a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying he's extraordinary among those athletes in terms of their preparations, in terms of
The preparation. Yeah.
in terms of the assistance that is necessary.
That's needed. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying there should be an extraordinary appeal for corporate Grenada, apart from just congratulating and putting out things there and associating your names with our athletes. It's time for corporate Grenada to come forward, right? Hearing Lindon's not so much appeal, but hearing his challenges. Corporate Grenada should be coming forward and saying, hey, Lindon, we are here to assist you. What it is we can assist
What does
you
he
with,
need? Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
these things like that.
And like, you know, no, he said it clearly, because people also have to understand there's a lot of things that have to be seasoned. It's like you're working for a big corporation, they have a budget, and that's the budget. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to wait till the cycle come around for the budget to go on. That they're gonna increase the budget or lessen it, right?
But
So the season is still going on.
yeah, but 3
So
weeks
it's
after,
really definitely after the season, you're gonna see a lot of things happening for him.
yeah, but apart from
Because
that,
even the same thing go for a lot of implements. It
hold on,
also
yeah,
go with business, all right? So
yeah,
it's a
but at the
business
same,
standpoint.
yeah, but at the same time, you don't. Some of them make commitments, right? I recall,
Yeah.
for example, when Kirani won 2011, when he won 2012, within a few days, there were companies that were, you know, and it's around the same time period, they were making big announcements, you know, all sorts of things like that. So, and I'm saying there's no reason why we cannot hear something, especially in the case of Lindon, who is already preparing or preparing to compete to represent Grenada again, even before Paris, right? There's every reason why 3 weeks after we have not heard something. And I'm saying we shouldn't be making any excuses for them. There should be something on the table. There should be some outreach, whether it's through the Grenada Athletic Association, the Grenada Olympic Committee, you know, there's some. There are avenues you can contact Lindon. You understand? Even if you make a pitch through social media, right? Somebody will see it and somebody will say, Lindon, X is trying to get in touch with you, something like that. So let's end by saying, hi, congratulations. No, George Gotti Robinson, hi, Bass. 2024 will be 40 years participating in the Olympics and 10 Olympic Games. Yes, certainly it will be also 100 years of the Grenada Athletic Association. So a lot. So 50 years, Grenada independence, 100 years, Grenada Athletic Association, and so much more. 40 years of participating in the Olympics, quite a bit for Grenada come 2024. Hopefully, we can add some medals at the Olympic Games as well. Right? Thank you very much, Rudian. Thank you.
Definitely. It's a pleasure.
And thank you to Lindon. Thank you to all those who have been with us, making this program a success, making this program possible. I certainly would have learned a lot from Lindon. We like to share congratulations with all the folks as well, to Lindon as well. I know his sis is putting up quite a bit of information on social media there about Lindon, Trinidad and Dominica last year. So announced the incentive 1 week after competition. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, I think something you did mention about the sports policy. For me, I don't think we have to wait for the sports policy. Yes, it will come with incentives, and it's not just incentives. There are a lot of other things that will deal with preparations of our elite athletes and all these things. But I'm saying here is a case for our corporate Grenada to step in and to see if they can join forces with the Olympic Committee, join forces with the government, and assist Lindon. You know, too many times we see these corporate bodies putting out, these congratulatory messages, associating themselves with the success of these athletes and things like that. So, and they're not matching it with anything. That's my take on it. Thank you very much, Rudian, and hopefully we'll be chatting next weekend.
Definitely. Have a good one.
All right, same to you. All right, folks, so there we have it. This is our program for this week. The invitation is yours to join us come next week, God's willing, for another program where we talk again on sports. Hopefully we'll have another guest and we'll be talking and discussing sports. Until then, I want you to have a pleasant weekend.